What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Running Recaps Podcast. I'm your host, Carolyn. And listen, I'm not going to be long. So let me get right into the story. But remember, everything I say on this channel is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Nothing more, nothing less. Just strictly my opinions. I have mine, you have yours. All right, let's get into this show, y'all. Listen, I've been binge watching Real Housewives of Potomac. I used to be a really avid watcher of Real Housewives of Potomac, but life been life. So today I actually sat down and I watched the last like 3 episodes. And Hunte, I knew they had new people, but like a third of their cast is new. Let me tell you, just to recap, they have Giselle, she's an OG. Ashley, she done been around a while, so she's not quite like an originator, but she's an OG too. I think they got Wendy Osefo. She's been on there about 3 seasons or so. You have Stacy, you have Kiana, you got Tia, and then you have Angel. So everybody has been getting acquainted and that kind of thing, right? So I'm just getting into the meat of it. So Angel, her husband seems to be a football player, a professional football player. Don't know if he's retired, if he's still working or what it is. However, he happens to know Chris, which is Monique. Remember Monique from back some seasons ago that left the show? She was married to Chris, the football player, and she had some kids from him, and she was going through something with her marriage, and she's now divorced him. And since that time, she's left the show. Candace left the show because she had a child and all this kind of stuff, right? So just moving forward. Like I said, they got new people on the show trying to fill the gap. And the Grand Dame, Miss Huga, she is truly missed on this show. And let me tell you why. Because they were thinking Giselle was going to be able to hold the fort down. And Giselle, she did a little bit of her thing, but she was just a little messy boots because that's what she does. She's messy, but she's not the Grand Dame, because Grand Dame, Karen, she was good at what she did, and she held the show together. They try to replace these shows and put some more meat in it with different cast members when the main people leave, but it's hard to replace that. It's just really hard to replace people who have a big following, have a big personality, and just who is good TV. So they were thinking Giselle was going to be able to carry the team, and she did all right. She lifted them up. She couldn't carry them like Karen, though. Karen is Karen. But, Karen had to go do some state prison time because she had a drinking problem, and she ended up getting into a very bad accident. That accident, thank God nobody was injured but Karen. But nevertheless, it was a very bad accident to the point where she totaled her vehicle. I think she had a Maserati or something like that. It's been some time ago. But anyway, she had to go before the judge because they was lenient on her the first time she got a DUI. They felt that she had learned a lesson. Or when she got in this big accident, the judge was like, no, ma'am, no turkey, no ham. You gotta go. So she had to do some time. And I'm saying I felt bad, but to be real honest with you and be frank, I felt like that might have saved her life because she really had a lot of things. She looked really good to us on the outside, but when I tell you Karen was dealing with some things, she was dealing with some things. And I'm really glad that she had some sit down time. Now I wish she had went through a good rehab program, not necessarily jail, but I'll get back to that by the end of this podcast. So anyway, the new girl, Angel, she had been getting the bad end of the stick from these girls, the old girls, for a long time. Ashley. Ashley is up Giselle Butte. She follows Giselle. Whatever Giselle does, ever since Robin left, Robin was Giselle's sidekick. And when Robin was there, Giselle was giving Ashley a hard time. She couldn't stand her husband. Giselle always have a problem with people's husband. But what I don't understand is how these people have problems with people's husband. They don't keep a man. You can't keep a man. Yeah, she was married. She was the first lady of a church for a long time. But that's neither here nor there. Since she's been on the single thing, she's been having a hard time, even with men she brings to the show. But she always in people relationship business. I mean, she done been in Ashley business. She done been in one after the other. She was a little bit dibble-dabbling in Robin, a little bit sneaky. She done said stuff about Karen's husband. She done said something about Chris. Everybody's husband, she got something to say something about. So anyway, Giselle is a messy boo. But they was thinking that she was going to be able to hold the show. Honey, ain't nobody like the Grand Dame, Karen, okay? So she was holding, but she wasn't carrying the show. All right. But anyway, nevertheless, Angel's a pretty successful person. and her husband as well, and they was giving her grief. Everything she suggested, tried to do, was a no-go. Again, Giselle and Ashley and Wendy too, they all was giving her a hard time. So moving forward, okay, episode 16, season 10. That's the season they're on right now. And Angel, despite everything that they've been doing, she wanted to do a girls' trip. Girls' trip, all the girls stay together, they do different things, they experience different things, they get to know one another, whatever, right? So she planned a trip to take the girls to Aspen, Colorado. And in this trip, she had her goal was to kind of, I guess, mend the broken fences, right? Mm-mm. It ain't do none of that, because when I tell you, they gave that girl a run for her money. And she was trying. She really, really was trying. So the Airbnb that Angel, booked was cray cray. It could not accommodate all the girls, right? It's a lot of girls. They know somebody gonna get a double bed in the room. Nobody wants a double bed. So they know somebody gonna get it. So anyway, Giselle and Ashley got it. They were fit to be tied for that. They were gonna leave, go to a hotel, do it all. They convinced her to stay, whatever. She stayed. But this was the caveat. In addition to it being small, the water was not working properly in the dang on Airbnb. It was not working properly. So they was irritated with the whole process. Not to mention that two of the girls actually went to stay with Angel at her 36 acres. It was beautiful. It is beautiful. So she only took two of the newbies. She took Tia and she took Kiana with her. Okay. Those two girls came to stay in her home. All the other girls stayed in the Airbnb without the working water. Okay. So Giselle was mad that Giselle was not having it. So she was going to leave out. They convinced her to stay. They got through the night. They met the next day. She had a different itineraries planned, and it just seemed like nothing really made them happy. So towards the end, tourist attraction that everyone in Aspen go to. So it was this shop that they can go and buy different little items where they can take souvenirs and different stuff like that. But their souvenirs not like the regular souvenirs you find at Disney's, honey. Their souvenirs was expensive. And this was my thing. They had the girls there, right? And everybody was buying certain things. The name of the place that they went to, the tourist shop, was called Kemosabe or something like that. Kemosabe is what they call it. But in that place, you can buy very high-end tourist memorabilia, all kind of stuff of Aspen, Colorado. So after everybody kind of brought what they were going to get, at the end, they had a little segment where people were talking about they spent $1,300 on some shoes. Somebody spent over $1,000 on a hat. So everybody talking about Giselle bought her some diamond earrings. Wendy, no, she ain't even buying nothing, okay? But Wendy brought some, I think, turquoise earrings, supposed to be real turquoise, just different stuff. Some people spent more than that on different things. But anyway, everybody was talking about what they actually brought. So the young lady, Stacy, who is relatively new, they got to the point where they was asking her, okay, Stacy, what did you buy? What did you get for your souvenir from the souvenir shop? And Stacy was like, I'm just appreciating all the things that you all got. So Stacy went home with all her coins. Stacy said, I know how to stay rich. So she wasn't there trying to fly in front of them. She went with her same money she came with, okay? So Stacy was like, Hunty, if they ain't paying for it and it ain't on the house, I ain't spending my coins. And she may not have had the coins to spend. But this is my thing that I didn't like. All of them, Giselle, all the way down to Wendy, all the way down to Angel, the new girls and all. They all had to put out and talk about the things that they brought and how much it cost. Not just what they brought, but how much it cost. And I'm looking like, that was really bougie. Bougetto. Because my biggest thing is that this is the problem with these reality TV shows. Everybody got to keep up with the Joneses or become the main Jones, if you know what I'm saying. Everybody got to talk about how much money they spend and how much their house is, who they go to for their hair, their clothes, their makeup. They got a hairstylist. And they paying all these people all these coins. So it take a lot to be a housewife. It ain't for the broke folks. It ain't for the broke folks. They send those people to the bad girl club or whatever they be calling baddies. But no, over there, No, 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 no. You gotta have coins. And to me, I feel like doing all of that, if you were gonna go and you were going to, what should I say, buy these things, then why you gotta sit here and brag about them and you gotta talk about them? I know it's all for show, for TV. All of them probably went and tried to return it back with the receipt. You know what I'm saying? After they finish filming. Just kidding, but I'm just saying it puts a very cold air on people who cannot afford it. And this is why a lot of those housewives end up going broke. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so busy trying to keep up with everybody and keep up with this facade they put out in front of the public. They don't really be having it like that. They be renting stuff, leasing stuff. And that was one of the things they was on Angel about, talking about she got evicted from her house, that she told a realtor that she wanted a $4,000 house, but she only wanted to pay 1,000 a month. And so some of the girls knew the realtor. They put that out there. I mean, they was ragging her for everything. So she felt that she had to impress them. She was on the show, taking them to these places, spending all this money. And hunty, you know what I mean? The next month, now you got to pay your bills. This is my thing. I feel like these reality TV shows, they are making money in the background, but these housewives and stuff, they making a little coins once they get known. But before then, they're out here hustling. They ear hustling, trying to figure out, okay, y'all, what can I do to make it look like, I'm still on top. When half the time they be around here struggling. They need to stop that. I don't like that because it always um puts everybody at odds because you got to one up the next person, one or two up the next person. That ain't cool. That's so high school. And another thing high school about these Real Housewives show, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm a reality show fanatic. I am a fanatic. I love myself some reality TV. I just really, really do. And I don't care. I look at it for entertainment, and that is all. It doesn't mess with my mentee, my psyche, or nothing. But I do look at it because I enjoy it. And this is my thing. I mean, life is stressful, so you got to have some way to let your hair down, and that's what I do. I like reality TV, y'all. And my biggest thing is that I don't know, they need to do something else with these people because all this bickering amongst each other, it gets to be tired and old. It's like they back real catty. Like they don't have no problem with nobody outside the show but each other. Every time, at least when the Real Housewives of Atlanta was going on, Sheree had a problem with the guy who was going. What was he going to do for her? He was going to do an event for her or something like that, or design something for her or something, and she had a problem with him. But they always got problems with each other. They never have issues going on outside of the cast. They need to find a new storyline though, because I get so tired of them just being messy in each other's business. That gets on my last nerve. What about y'all? It kind of makes me feel like a little high school bully kind of thing. The bad girls and the good girls, or the popular girls and the not so popular girls. Ew, it is so like sometimes aggravating. Even though I like it, it is very aggravating. But anyway, so they went to Kemosabe, they bought some things, and they left after they talked about it. They poor Angel, she just couldn't get nothing. She could not get a break. So at the end, they were supposed to go do some fishing thing or whatever it was called. And she had plans for the girls because everybody was separate. The three, there was the three of them, and then it was Giselle and her crew over here. So they were in separate cars, right? So they were supposed to meet at this little outdoor place, and they were supposed to go fishing. It's not regular fishing though. It's a certain type of fishing. They're supposed to be out there like in the shallow water and fishing. They're supposed to do fly fish. They were supposed to meet up, all the girls supposed to meet up at this place, have a really nice brunch style brunch, and then they were supposed to do some fly fishing excursion, and then they're supposed to hit the road, hit the plane and go back. But child, how about poor Angel? She could not get it right. She could not get it right. And it would have been frustrating for me too, because hey, I don't know if they finance their own flights and stuff to these places, or if the network does, or what they be doing, because the network be around here flogging too. They don't be paying these girls like they should. They be paying a lot of stuff out of their own pocket, I believe. But anyway, they were supposed to fly fish, have an excursion. That never happened. They had the chef and everybody there preparing, and they never made it to the excursion because they had to catch their plane to head back. And it would not have been enough time because they were like lost for over 2 hours. And someone pinned Angel the location where they were. And by the time she sent that over to everybody and she used it to get to them, they didn't have time because they were lost. It was taking them in a circle. Child, Angel couldn't get a break. She really could not get a break. But let me tell you something. Towards the end, everybody was lost, right? So there was no last excursion. The fly fish excursion was out of there. They could not get together and they could not do it because everybody was lost. Time was not on their side. Angel just had a whole long problem. And so the girls, Giselle, who was it? Stacy, Ashley, I'm trying to remember, and Wendy, and might have been one more. It was one more. But anyway, they stopped at a regular gas station and got some little things because they was hungry. They never got their brunch, right? So anyway, everybody attacked Stacy because they felt like Stacy is not being real authentic. She lied and all this kind of stuff. So they was like all over her because it's the word on the street that she messed with Chris. You know, Chris was Monique. Remember Monique I was telling you about that was on the show before that beat Candace up. Candace left the show, but she got into it with Candace, and so they didn't want her around on the show. Giselle was one of the main ones advocating she didn't feel safe around Monique and all that after that. So Monique left the show. Monique left the show after they was at an event again, and her and Candace got into it because Candace bit mouth, and she threw something, a wine bottle or something at Candace. It's been so long ago. I'm trying to remember, child. And they wanted her off the show. So Monique left after all that. And Monique took a hiatus and tried to get her little stuff together. But since that time, Monique divorced Chris and all that stuff. But let me tell you something, kind of find out. There was something funky in the milk because something happened. It ain't completely hit the surface, but they like riding Stacy like cray ray. So they are riding Stacy crazy because they feel like she's not being honest about what she did or did not do with Chris, which is Monique's ex-husband. Now Monique is back on the show, and Giselle is one of them. But the one that gave Stacy the most problem was Wendy, because she was all up on her. And Wendy is supposed to be Stacy's friend. I don't know what kind of little friendships they be having, right? And Wendy was flogging and acting brand new. I don't even see Wendy the same, child, because let me tell you, moving forward, Wendy, about 3 months after the show, and they went back to Potomac up there, her and her husband got arrested. Eddie and Wendy got arrested. And we'll talk about this later. But they got arrested. It's been all up on the internet. Y'all know about it because they were saying they had made a false insurance claim. I don't know. I don't know. Nothing has been proven. She's innocent and her husband's innocent until proven guilty. But after this part of the show closed, okay, they were wrapping it up. They're going to have one more episode, which is episode 17. Y'all gotta see it. But they had a little caption on there say 3 months, I believe, after the show, that's when everything hit the fan with Wendy and her husband. So when they went on that trip, after she was just all up feeling herself, Wendy, all up on Stacy, all up on Angel about her faking and being a fake and all this and that about facade and all this, come to find out, Wendy was faking the funk too. Because a lot of the things and money that she had, again, pressure from trying to keep up with the Joneses, wasn't true. She didn't have it like that. She did not have it like that. She was trying to use this money to juggle here and there, allegedly, to get this money so she could keep up with the persona she had built in front of everybody and keep up with the girls on the show. It wasn't even true. She didn't even have it like that. Her husband's an attorney. She's this educated woman, but neither one of them was street smart. Honey, so much thing came out with that Wendy and her husband, it's alleged that they had so many credit cards under different names. It's just, I was in awe. Now, you talking about something that shocked me in 2025, that was it. Because I never put Wendy and her husband in that situation. So I am hoping that all this is not true with Wendy and her husband, because if it is, that's bad. That's bad. Because they set up, from what they're saying, the police said they got proof based on all the evidence and all of that, and the surveillance cameras and all that. When they was on this little trip to Jamaica, wherever they went with their children, they said that someone broke into their house and stuff like that. And come to find out, the police was already questioning it when they was there. And when they did all the looked and got the evidence and stuff, they had enough to indict them. So we're gonna be hearing a lot about this. So I'm not gonna talk a lot about it now. I just want to shake it a little bit because it was a caption at the end of the show. But yeah, her and her husband was arrested months after that last taping from the trip. Okay. So now the grand finale. Okay. My girl Karen has been released from state prison. Yes, she is. They gave us a caption of her. Just from seeing Karen, the grand dame, she's still a grand dame to me. I respect her hustle so much. And I respect her because she gave us an insight on who she was coming out of jail. It's like when she stepped out, she was more humble, sober for sure. But in the popo up in the jail, they be getting a whole bunch of the big D words, and they be also getting a lot of contraband and stuff in there. So prayerfully, she didn't get involved in any of that while she was there. Hopefully, she used it for rehab. She talked about all the young women she touched, and we'll talk about this later. I'm just giving y'all the touch because you gotta see episode 17, season 10. Gotta see it because it's gonna bring my girl Karen back into the loop, and Andy's going to interview her and talk about her stay, and that some people saying that she shouldn't come back to the show. And I'm like, why not? Why she shouldn't come back to the show, y'all? Why do people think she should not come back to the show? People are human. People make stupid decisions all the time. We all do. Okay, even the people who making the comments, they be done made mistakes. So I don't be wanting to hear that people don't deserve another opportunity because we all make mistakes over and over again. So I feel like she should come back. I feel like she should be given a second chance because she is the Real Housewives of Potomac catalyst. And without her, that show is not going to continue long. And now Wendy finna go sit her butt down. Is she found guilty? Her and her husband found guilty, allegedly. So I don't know. It's just been a lot going on with that show. Y'all gotta tune in to the final episode, or you gotta watch it on one of the streaming apps. But it's gonna be good. My girl Karen is out. She's looking good. She's more humble, it seems like. And I think she gonna have some news for them. And she gonna stir the pot. And I think she's gonna be on another show as well. So I'm excited for whatever she has moving forward. But more than likely, she's gonna be able to be a good liaison for Wendy once she go through all this. Preferably she's found innocent, her and her husband. But in the events, the tables turn, she gonna be a good confidant and a resource for her. Because even though she was in state and Wendy would probably have to go to federal if found guilty. I don't know. They be doing all kind of tricky things when it comes to stuff like that. But we're gonna keep our fingers crossed. I don't want any wish that on anybody, nobody. Okay, so anyway, y'all, I just want to kind of give y'all a recap on everything that I seen when I did my little 3-4 series binge watch, and let y'all know y'all gotta see 17 because my girl Karen is on the way back. Bye.